Oh, guys and gals, I like to talk about a few things in the world. Um, I haven't been talking about this, but uh, well, I didn't last weekend because I kind of try to make good videos on the weekends. But anyway, let's talk real quickly about some of the issues in the world. Um, right now, right now you got the BRICS dollar. We know that. I've already talked about the BRICS dollar too much. But let's talk about other things here. So, uh, we've got the issues coming up of the BRICS dollar. We've got the issues coming up of the Middle East about to implode. We got out of there, but now we're looking for a reason to go back in there. And we're going after Iran. Israel started this war with Iran for one specific reason, and that was to get the United States to go against Iran. But this whole thing was a proxy war to begin with. So we went in, we bombed, we did things. We're going in there. We're going into that country. We're going to invade Iran. But we have other problems with that. Once we do this, then you're going to have China, which is being a sleeping beauty right now. They're being a nice sleeping beauty, but the thing about it is they also have a lot of military might. And Iran is sort of their little kitten, so to speak. You don't mess with Iran because you get China. You also get Russia. So they are not playing. They said we crossed the line. They said we're on the line, the three and red line, and now we've crossed that line. We've crossed that line. Okay, so the Middle East is about to implode. Okay, and then on top of that, they want to do the Iran thing so they can also help stop the BRICS dollar. Brazil, Russia, Russia, India, uh, China, South Africa, right? But they want to. Iran is also part of this deal too. Okay, so they want to help stop that BRICS dollar too because they want to stop that currency from coming in from. They want to stop them from shipping those goods into the United States in other ways. Okay, so they're not going to allow. They won't be dealing with the rest of the world who's not willing to take the BRICS dollar. And the rest of the world's not willing to take the BRICS dollar. It would be stuff like America, Europe, the European countries who's not willing to take the BRICS dollar. Some are, some aren't, but stuff like Germany, England, Italy, France. But I've heard France is wanting to get in with the BRICS dollar. But you've also got Australia, and there's several other countries. But I've heard that Denmark is wanting to actually go in with the BRICS dollar. So with all these other countries, and they want to make a non-tariff free trade deal, so they can just trade freely, no tariffs, no nothing, and everybody's free on the deal. Well, I mean that would work also for the United States. We could do that ourselves if they would if they would start doing one thing and stop hitting us with tariffs when we send it. We can send it to them. We got 100% tariff, but when they send it back to us, we're supposed to have 0% tariff on them. Okay, so if they want to play that kind of deal, that's fine. But hey, the deal is that's okay. But when I send it to you, you don't put no tariffs on me, the same as I'm not going to put any on you. It's really a trade war. And so, the trade wars are turning over to sort of physical wars. But then you've got the other issue here. All right, the whole thing comes down to really this. It's a power thing, okay? And right now, the basically what you would say more of the white people countries, the NATO countries, basically the NATO countries. But then Russia is a whole different thing, but they're white people too. But basically, more what you'd just say, more the predominantly white Indian, Israel type people are more of the people that's in the NATO thing. Then you got all the, let's say, the Asian countries, and then you've got the Asian countries, except for South Korea and Thailand, who's not in with us, and who's not Thailand is in with us, and South Korea is in with us, and then South Vietnam, Laos, they're in with us. Vietnam is in with us. All those countries over there, they're kind of in with us. Taiwan is in with us, and then you've kind of got it where it wants to kind of shift from what I would kind of say the white English Italian speaking countries. We want to shift that over to the minority type countries. So it'd be more in for them better than it would be for the English speaking uh, type people. So let's say it'd be better for South Africa. It'd be better for Brazil. It'd be better for Russia. It'd be better for India, and better for China, and it would be better for them. And they're really not the minority. They're really the but in America they would be considered the minority. But in the rest of the world, in the world population thing, they're way above us. So they're really not the minority. They're really about like 2/3 of the world population. So basically, not trying to get into a kind of race or anything, but what I'm saying is, the countries that are more of an English speaking type country, those people, will be shot out of luck. And even Mexico down here, they're talking about, down here in Mexico, they're talking about going with this BRICS dollar too. They've already signed up and said, hey, I'm in. So the minute that they turn that thing on, Mexico is going there, okay? So basically, but Canada, on the other hand, will be with us. So this whole thing is really just about a big power shift. It's a shift of power that's going from these countries, these German, Russia, German, Italy, German, Italy, English speaking, Australian countries, America, Canada countries, the NATO countries, Denmark, Switzerland, Poland, all of them, they're all kind of more of us. And then, you got Canada, and then you got also Greenland, and then Iceland, and all of them. So they're all basically in this big pack together, okay? So the world power is over in this pack. They're not wanting to let that power switch to another hand. They're over here, but they're not wanting to let that power switch to the other hand, okay? So if China gets to be the world dominant superpower, okay, which they're already economically crippling us, but if they get to be the world superpower and they get to hold the world dollar, that's what their whole goal is, to ruin America. So they're wanting to do that. So what America and all these other countries are doing right now, and the whole world basically economy suffering for it, and everything's falling to shit. Nobody knows how to fix it because they can't fix it. Okay, but what's happening is it's going from this power shift, over to this power shift. Okay, so they're wanting to shift from this power to this power. All right. So then you got Russia and China, two big heads, are putting themselves together. Now all the other little countries around are trying to put that together too. So what's happening is they're trying to do this great big power shift. Okay. The problem with all this power shift and everything else is you get the big power shift from it. Okay. So you need to basically get yourself straightened out good. I'm telling you, by the time this year's up next year, I'm not foreseeing that there's going to be a United States dollar anymore. There's not going to be a United States economy. And if you you need to live it, excuse me, you need to live what you preach. So, you need to start getting things ready and straightened out. You need to start ordering you some Mylar bags and get you some food, store it up, order you some freeze dried foods and stuff like that if you can. One of the biggest things I think that the easiest thing you probably can do is you can buy what they call the 5-gallon. It's a 5-gallon bag. It's a big bag. Or you can order big bags of big huge bags, and they're big bags, Mylar bags, and you can fill those things full of rice, and then put some oxygen absorbers in them. And believe me, rice is, a lot of people was talking about, your body wouldn't would start rejecting beans and rice. And it is true, it would eventually if you ate that too much every single day. And it's just, you plus on top of that all the nutrient values that would be lost because of those things. But if you get, I tell you what though, if you get Mylar bags, uh, and you put rice in it, you can do so many things with rice. I know Asian people that eat rice in the morning, they eat rice at night, and they eat rice in the evening. They eat rice in the morning, midday, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They eat rice 3 times a day. And I ask them, they come up with all these different ways of things you can do with rice. And really, the truth is, rice is one thing that can pretty much be eaten with every single meal, and it won't hurt you. There's no real toxins to rice. I mean, look at how many of those little Asian guys and women that live to be over 100 years old to eat rice, all year long. No kidding. Rice, rice, rice. Everything's rice. Okay. I mean, I got a friend. His mama orders one time a year. His mama, he's an Asian guy. He's from Laos, and his mama orders rice, a 50 pound bag, a 50 pound bags, and she orders a pallet. They have a pretty big family. They raise their own chickens too. They eat the eggs and they eat the chickens themselves, and then they have everything else. So they got 200 chickens, and then every year they order a crate, not just a little bit. I mean a crate of 50-gallon bags of 50-pound bags of rice. And I asked the guy, I said, how much that cost? And he said, well, that costs about $1,200, I think is what he said, or something like that. And I can kind of believe that, considering how much rice is going up to. And he told me, I told him, I said, well, I'd like to get some of the rice. I said, I need to go to Asian places or get some rice up at the Asian places. And he said, don't do that, man. He said, I can sell you a bag cheap. And he said, that bag lasts just you a long, long time. No more than Americans are going to eat rice. He said, we eat rice in the morning, we eat rice at night, and midday, and we eat rice at night. And I've seen him do it. I even seen a guy one time that was from Laos, and he had rice there, and he had cold, and he actually was eating it cold. He didn't heat it up. It was right, and he actually went out to the water fountain, and he'd run cold water into the rice. I'm like, why did you just do that for? And he told me, I like gold. So, I don't know. I've seen him actually open plantains, take the plantains, eat the plantains. You ever had plantains, cooked plantains? They're actually pretty good. So they'd take the plantains out, then they'd refill that thing and pack that thing up with something, and then they would cook it in the plantain. And then they would turn around and peel that plantain off and eat the rice out of it. I'm telling you, you can eat rice morning, noon, and night. It won't hurt you a bit. You will not get a thing. One thing about rice is it's kind of a neutral flavor, and you can mix it with so many different things, and you can do so many different. You can make so many different dishes out of it. You can do eggs with rice. You can, there's so many different things. It's like I told my mom one time. She didn't even know this, and I told her, I said, well, I said, you might not believe it, I said, but you can actually take tofu, which is soybean tofu, and I said, you can take tofu, you can crumble it up. I said, you can crumble it up, put some olive oil in a pan. You can crumble it up, put some olive oil in a pan, and I said, then put some salt and pepper in it, mix it, I said, cook it up that way, and I said, you won't be able to tell the difference between it being egg whites or not. And it tastes so much like eggs once you cook it up with olive oil and some salt and pepper and potatoes. It tastes just about like eggs. I said, there's really not much different. So what she did, whenever the egg prices went up, she went out and she started buying things of tofu. She said that, and then now tofu's gone up so high that she's like, man, they done cut me off. And she was upset because when the eggs go up, that's her way of saving some money on eggs, because she actually takes tofu. She would actually take tofu and she would dry it out, and then I told her, I said, you got to pat it dry, you got to dry it out real good. And I said, you want to kind of dry it out, and then she would take it and she would put some olive oil in a pan, and then she'd put some tofu in there, and then she'd crack an egg, and she mixed the eggs up with the tofu, and you couldn't tell the difference. And she said, you're right. She said, you couldn't tell the difference. And I said, no, I told you. I said, it tastes just like eggs. And so, generally speaking, if I do eggs, I generally like to use real butter, put butter in there, then, kind of scramble my eggs up with some salt and pepper and stuff like that, and just do scrambled eggs, make some egg sandwiches, or eat it straight with some toast and a couple pieces of bacon, with a stack of bacon. But that's me. I'm just a little Southern boy. But the truth of the matter is, there's ways of making, and what my point is, there's ways of making all this different stuff. So think about that, okay? You need to start really thinking about what are you going to do. And I even admit, when it comes down to food stuff, I've got a lot of food stored up. I do. I have a lot of food stored up. God knows I got enough guns and ammunition to last me 5 lifetimes and everything else. And I admit that. But I need to get more food stored up, and I'm going to start working more and more and more on the food part myself a little bit. Some of my canned goods and stuff's getting a little old and dated, and you don't eat it, you don't fresh it, it gets kind of old, and some of it's getting kind of old and dated, and I need to kind of get the old canned goods and take them and kind of throw them away. I hate to say it, but it's true, and start working myself on my own food stuff. I probably should get a Sam's Club membership again, and that way I can get stuff more in bulk that way. It's true though, but I personally know what I need to work on, and I personally can see areas I need to work on. Like right now, I'm down to like 2 years maybe worth of toilet paper. So really, I need to get myself back up to, let's say, the 5 to 10 year mark on the toilet paper. And so I mean, I had 3 years, but now I'm down to probably about 2 years worth of toilet paper. So I need to kind of get myself stocked back up on that area. So I see areas I need to work on, and I'm gonna start really pushing hard again on working on those areas. And when I say I'm gonna start prepping, I'm gonna start prepping hard, and you need to do the same. We all need to do the same. We need to get this prepping thing in control. Okay. Anyway, be good at it. Take it easy. Think about what I said. Start working on it, man. You're gonna have to get yourself straight, because this country is gonna last a year, and within a year, this whole country's gonna fall apart. Another thing you might want to think about getting is a way to grow a garden. Grow a garden and have heirloom seeds. And once the garden's wiped, you can have the seeds. All right, you can save the seeds. Okay, but you also, if you're going to save the seeds, and you're going to want to grow more. So once you get the heirloom seeds and learn how to take the seeds back. Okay, so you want to take some seeds, you want to keep them in proper conditions, pretty much more down in the cellar, because that's the perfect conditions for the seeds. And only whatever seeds you collect, only use half of those seeds, okay, for the next year's garden. All right, so you want to get the most amount of seeds you can, and then use only half those seeds for next year's garden, in case your crop is wiped out, and then you have the backup storage. Okay, so that's an important thing to think about. Okay, you want to keep those seeds in the optimal, best conditions. There's actually in the world they have a place that's I think they consider it, I think it's Norway or something like that, or Sweden, and they've got the World Seed Bank. That's what it's called, the World Seed Bank, and all they got there is just seeds from all over the world, of all different plants, and they could rebuild the planet in case the planet ever gets totally destroyed. They're trying to come up with ways to rebuild the planet, so they got a seed bank, and that's what they do. So think about that. Okay. Anyway, be good at it. It's getting a little late. Time for me to watch a movie and relax and get some sleep. Anyway. You be good at it. I said I was going to make a video. I did. I am. And I'm going to keep on pushing these videos. I need to start getting my butt in gear, start making my videos again. So just work with me. Like I said, my mom, she's been sick. I'm trying to get her straightened out, but she's getting better. And but she's still able not to lift anything. And then on top of that, while working 6 days a week, it's just been tough. Okay, so I'm still trying to push the videos while having my own personal life and my own personal affairs going on. Anyway, you be good at it, and take it easy.